Dr. Elena Shaw had spent most of her adult life inside the soft white walls of her dental clinic. To others it was just a place for appointments, treatments, and the faint scent of mint, but to her it was home, quiet, predictable, and safe. She liked the rhythm of her work, the hum of machines, the small conversations with patients, the steady order in everything. What she didn't have was someone to share her evenings with. Someone who asked how her day was. Someone who made her feel seen. Elena had always believed she could live without that. But life has a way of surprising you at the most ordinary moments. It was a rainy afternoon when the door to her clinic opened softly. The rain outside was loud, but the young woman who stepped inside walked as if she carried her own silence with her. She clutched her cheek, wincing slightly. Her hair was wet, sticking to her forehead, and her eyes looked tired in a way that went beyond pain. "Are you all right?" Elena asked, immediately stepping away from the counter. The woman hesitated before nodding. I think I have a toothache. It started last night. I tried to bear it but..." Her voice cracked. Elena's gaze softened instantly. "You don't have to explain. Come with me. We'll take care of it." The woman's name was Maya. And the moment she said it, Elena felt something warm stir inside her. Not attraction, not yet, but a kind of recognition. As if life had brought her a story she didn't know she needed. Inside the treatment room, Maya looked around nervously. Her hands trembled slightly as she sat on the dental chair. Elena noticed it. She noticed everything. The uneven breathing, the way Maya's eyes avoided the tools, the way her shoulders tensed with every small sound. "Do doctors make you nervous?" Elena asked gently. Maya gave a half-embarrassed smile. "Not doctors. Dental treatments. I had a bad experience once. I get scared easily." Elena nodded as if she understood more than she let on. "We'll go slowly. And if you need me to stop, just lift your hand. You're in control here." Something in her tone made Maya breathe easier. As Elena examined her tooth, their eyes met for a brief moment. Something unspoken passed between them, something soft, fragile, and impossible to name. Elena felt her own heartbeat jump, and she quickly looked away to focus on the procedure. Maya felt warmth spread across her cheeks that had nothing to do with pain. When the treatment was over, Maya released a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. She expected to feel relieved only physically, but instead she felt as if someone had reached into the heaviness she had been carrying and quietly lifted a piece of it. "You'll need to come back in 2 weeks, Elena said, her voice softer than usual. Maya nodded. "Okay." She hesitated before adding, "Thank you. You made it feel safe." Elena smiled, and for the first time that day, her smile wasn't professional, it was personal. As Maya walked out into the rain, she kept thinking about that smile. And Elena watched the door long after Maya had left, wondering why the room suddenly felt a little emptier. 2 weeks passed strangely slowly. Elena found herself looking at the calendar more than usual. She tried to tell herself she was just being diligent about her schedule, but even she didn't believe that. On the day of Maya's appointment, Elena dressed with unusual care. She tied her hair neatly, checked her coat twice, and chose the soft lavender lip balm instead of the usual nude tone. She told herself it didn't mean anything. She didn't dare think otherwise. When Maya arrived, she was smiling shyly, as if unsure whether she was allowed to be happy to see Elena. But the moment their eyes met, the air changed. They talked more that day. About their work, about the rain, about the small things that didn't matter but somehow meant everything. Elena laughed more in that 1 hour than she had in weeks. And Maya felt something she hadn't felt in a long time, safe enough to be herself. More appointments followed, some necessary, some just scheduled because it's better to check again. Elena would stay near the reception when Maya was expected, pretending to rearrange files just to catch a glimpse of her as she walked in. Maya started dressing a little nicer, combing her hair twice, applying a lip shade she hoped wasn't too noticeable. She told herself she wasn't trying to impress anyone. She failed to convince herself every time. Their conversations grew longer. Their smiles grew softer. Their connection grew deeper in a way that wasn't dramatic or sudden. It was slow, natural, like the quiet blooming of a flower that didn't need attention to grow. One evening, Maya came not as a patient but as a visitor. She stood outside the clinic holding a small box of cupcakes. Made these for you, she said shyly. Elena looked surprised, almost touched in a way that made her eyes soften. For me, Maya nodded. You didn't just fix my tooth, she said quietly. You made me feel comfortable. And I wanted to say thank you. Elena took the box gently, her fingers brushing against Maya's, sending a small spark up both their arms. Inside the box was a small note in Maya's careful handwriting. You healed a part of me I didn't know was broken. Elena read it twice. Then again. Something inside her shifted, something she had kept locked away for years. When Maya turned to leave, Elena spoke before she could stop herself. Would you like to stay for tea? Maya looked up, surprised. If you're not busy. Elena shook her head. I'd like you to stay. That evening became a beginning neither of them expected. They sat in the small break room, drinking tea, talking about their lives. Maya shared her fears, the loneliness she carried, the heartbreak she never spoke about. Elena listened with the quiet patience she carried like second nature. In turn, Elena shared parts of herself she rarely let anyone see, the long nights, the quiet loneliness, the way she had built walls around her heart because she thought no one would stay long enough to understand her. As the hours passed, their hands brushed, once accidentally, then again, intentionally. Maya looked at Elena with eyes that held gratitude, admiration, and something more tender. Elena looked at Maya like she was seeing something she never knew she needed. The room was silent, but nothing about the silence felt empty. It felt full of warmth, full of presence, full of something neither of them dared to call love yet but both felt deeply. When it was time to leave, Maya hesitated at the door. I'm glad I came today, she said softly. Elena nodded. So am I. Maya paused, her voice just above a whisper. Meeting you changed something in me. Elena stepped closer, her eyes gentle. Your smile changed something in me first. In the days that followed, they began to meet outside the clinic. First for tea, then for walks, then simply because being near each other made the world feel a little lighter. Their connection wasn't rushed, it wasn't loud, it was slow, quiet, and incredibly real. One evening, as they walked along a riverside, Maya stopped to look at the water. The sunset reflected in her eyes, turning them into a soft golden glow. Elena stood beside her, feeling something rise inside her, something warm, something brave. She reached out and gently took Maya's hand. Maya didn't pull away. Instead, she intertwined their fingers and leaned her head on Elena's shoulder. In that simple moment, everything changed. Not because something dramatic happened, but because something finally made sense. Elena realized she didn't have to be alone. She didn't have to hide her heart behind professionalism and routine. Maya realized she didn't have to fear closeness. She didn't have to protect herself from kindness. They healed each other in ways neither expected. They brought softness into each other's lives. They created a space where loneliness had no room to grow. And their love didn't arrive loudly. It arrived with small smiles, gentle conversations, shared tea, and quiet evenings. It arrived in the safest place, right where healing begins. Elena had fixed many smiles in her life. But Maya's smile was the first smile that fixed her. And Maya, who walked into the clinic with fear in her heart, walked out with something far more beautiful: love, comfort, and a connection she never believed she deserved. Together, they learned that sometimes love doesn't come with grand gestures. Sometimes it comes in the softest form: a gentle touch, a patient heart, a warm glance across a quiet room. And sometimes, it starts with nothing more than a toothache, a kind doctor, and a smile that changed everything.